Hi, stamping friends. It's Sherry Parker coming to you live on Wednesday, May 14th. Hard to believe that May is halfway through. I just can't even believe it because time goes faster every year. Summer is upon us. There's a lot of great things happening. Glad you could join me tonight for a couple cute cards using the new Gallery Blooms suite. So I think our beautiful gallery suite. I think you'll really like the projects and they're easy to do. So before I get started, just a quick mention that Sunday, May 18th from 2 to 5, I'm having a new catalog open house. And if you come, you'll get a chance to make some fun projects. Got some in-color cards, a fun card using the new sailboat, and then a bookmark just to kind of help you keep track of the new in-colors. So I'd love it if you came. Just shoot me a little message, say you're gonna be there, and no cost or anything. I'll have some fun surprises. There will be prizes to win, and also I'll have some retiring product for sale, really cheap, as well as a lot of other cool things. So hope you can join me. So tonight I'm gonna make two pretty cards using the wonderful, beautiful gallery suite. I'm gonna turn my camera over right now. And as always, if you comment on or share this video, you'll have an opportunity to win the prizes that I make each week. So at the end of this video, I will draw for last week's cards, and there were 3, so we'll have 3 winners tonight. All right, I'm gonna turn this around and we'll get started. All right, if you've had a chance to peruse the new catalog, you may have seen this wonderful new suite called Beautiful Gallery in the new catalog. There's a lot of beautiful, beautiful things in this suite. So tonight we're going to be using this. And from this suite, we'll be using the beautiful motifs, the stamp set and dies, as well as the embossing folder and ribbon, and this gorgeous DSP beautiful gallery. This is really, really pretty, and I'll show you here in just a second. But one thing to call out on these dies that was really fun, and I didn't realize until I received them, that a couple of them are actually partial pop-up, these 3, and I guess 3, not a couple. And then the other 2 are regular die cuts that cut out. So I'll show you in one of the cards we're going to use one of these, but that was a fun little surprise and something a little bit different. So we'll get started. Just to show you, hey Michelle, how beautiful this paper is. I just put a sheet of it in a frame, and look at that. It's gorgeous. It's like a still life, painting. So I really do love this paper, and in the catalog they show you all kinds of fun home decor things you can do with it. So I did go ahead and put a sheet in a frame, and I'm pretty excited about it. So, and to show you a little bit more of the paper, it's a lot of scenery, okay, on one side. So you've got some landscapes, you've got some still life florals, and then on the reverse side, you have some very nice just patterns that are great accents for any of your projects. So this is going to be the feature of our card tonight, both of our cards actually, and I wanted to share that with you. In addition, the beautiful motif stamp set, some great greetings, and a coordinating die cut set. And this is what I was talking about, that some of these are actually partial pop-ups. So that makes it kind of a fun surprise. Hi, Michelle. Oh, yes, it's very fun to get the new stuff in the mail. It's like Christmas. And then also in this suite, and we'll be using tonight, is the damask embossing folder. It's really, really pretty, very vintage, I feel like, but really nice accent. So those were the products that we'll be using tonight. And I'll show you the cards we're gonna make. We're gonna make 2 cards, and both of them feature this designer series paper. A very simple one here that uses just snippets of paper to create a really pretty background of a card. And then a fun fold that uses designer series paper as well as some additional elements. So we'll get started. For this first card, we'll be using some of the new in colors. This is the new Secret C designer series paper, and that will be our card base. And then we will also use a quarter sheet of white, and I've already run this through the embossing folder, and if you can see that there. So very, very pretty, subtle pattern, very vintage. I feel like. So that will be our card base, and we'll just set that aside. For the focal point of the card, we used the Designer Series paper, and I cut a piece that's 3 by 4. And one little trick to doing this, if you're going to hero your Designer Series paper like this, is to first cut the base. So on a 6 by 6 piece of paper, what you would do is cut 2 inches off the bottom, and then you can cut the remaining piece in half. And so you'll have 2 pieces for this part of your card, and and then you'll have a strip that you can use somewhere else. So that is going to be the front part of the card. And then right behind it, I cut a piece of our two-tone Designer Series paper. So it might be hard to tell on camera, but this is a piece of the Pool Party two-tone cardstock. So there's a dark side and a slightly lighter side. And one really cool thing to mention about this two-tone paper is that it's different from our other cardstock in that it's actually printed the color. So in the inside of the paper, if you tore it, you would see it's white, but then there's a lighter shade and a slightly darker shade. So this just gives you an example of some of the different techniques you can do with this two-tone cardstock. So tearing, crumbling, sanding, and then merely just folding it over, and you can see the two different shades of one color. So it's a lot of fun to experiment with. And I thought I would use it tonight. So even though there's not necessarily Pool Party in this Designer Series paper, I think it coordinates pretty well with it. So I cut this piece just slightly larger than this. So it's 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And what I'm gonna do is just crumble it up. That might give some people hives. I know not everybody likes to tear and crumble, but it's a lot of fun. You can take your aggressions out or frustrations if you had a bad day at work or something. Crumble up a piece of paper. So I'm just kidding. I know nobody has bad days at work. So anyway, on the little bit darker side, you can see that I'm going to straighten it out. And a really cool technique, of course, I showed you there was to use like a sanding block or a piece of sandpaper, and you just go over it. And this might be a little bit loud on camera, but you can see how it really gives it that nice weathered look. So this is going to be the backdrop that will sit behind our paper. And it's intentionally like that, right? It's not like we just dropped it on the ground and stepped on it. But one cool thing I wanted to share with you also is last week I did a few different cars using our new sailboat. So I wanted to show you that if you ran that sailboat through the embossing folder with this two-tone cardstock and then sanded it just like I did the crumple piece, look how cool that is. So you can get a really nice effect, and all I did was just sand it a little bit. It's not like I did anything else. I just put a little bit of the sanding block over it, and look how that makes it pop. So that's a really fun thing to try with this two-tone cardstock, and because it's white in the middle, you can do that. Right? So our other cardstock that's solid color, you wouldn't get that effect. So it's the two-tone cardstock. So back to our card, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and position this piece behind our Designer Series paper. And I'm going to use a little bit of adhesive and just offset it slightly. Nothing too crazy, but you know, it is intentional. We want it to be seen. And then that will be our front of our card. Before we adhere it though, I did want to use a little bit of this beautiful metallic edged sheer ribbon, and we'll just put a real simple little knot to the side. And I always love to do a little bit of ribbon accent, some kind of extra bit. It wouldn't be necessary. I think it'd still be pretty without that. And then we'll adhere it to the front of our card. And the real cool thing here is what you'll do is I'm going to have the Designer Series paper be parallel to the card. So what's off centered then is the Pool Party piece. So I did it the opposite direction that I did that one, but either way would look nice. And then for the greeting, using this stamp set that I showed you, the beautiful motif, I will use one of the gradings from here, so the thank you for everything, using our Secret C ink. And this is one of our new in colors. I really do like this color a lot. At first I was like, well, I don't know, but I really do. I like it a lot. It's not black, it's not navy, it's somewhere in between. So, and this shape, if you were wondering, is from the Unbounded Love dies. So I cut that out with white. And then we'll just go ahead and adhere that to our card front. And we're almost done. If you wanted to add a few extra little embellishments, it's always fun to add some bling, and these are the new iridescent gemstones that match the end colors. So I'll pull a Secret C and a cloud cover gem there, and that will be the front of the card. For the inside, I would definitely recommend a piece of white since it's such a dark color. And the Gallery Blooms is another stamp set in that same suite. And I just picked out one of the tiny little flowers there. And I thought, you know, why not? We'll just have one in the corner over here. And you could also stamp a greeting if you wanted. But we'll go ahead and put that on the inside, and then that card is all done. And that took almost no time at all. So we'll put that one right in the middle, and there you go. And again, if you comment on or share this video, this card might be yours. So I'll draw next week for these cards. Okay, so on to our second card, which is again using the same beautiful designer series paper, beautiful Gallery. And this has just a little bit different fold. I'll be using Mossy Meadow as one of the accent colors. It coordinates with this designer series paper. And this is just one of our regular ink colors. It's not an in color. So for this card, I've got I cut an 8.5 by 11 sheet in half. And on the long side, I'm going to do a couple score lines. So you will want to score it at, sorry for all the noise, at 3 1/4, like that. Use your scoring blade. And again at 6 1/2. And this card base color is called Basic Beige. And this is a really nice neutral tone. But you'll essentially just kind of do an accordion fold like that. Use my bone folder, get a nice fold there. And then we get to do the fun part to assemble this card. So as I showed you before on the designer series paper, you can get actually 2 cards out of one 6x6 piece. So this piece here is 3 by 4, okay? And we'll go ahead and glue this to our card front. I just love these florals in this. I guess you could go this way or this way. I'm going to go this way. So that'll be the front of the card. And then we'll use this other strip here, and this one's only 1 1/2 by 4, and we will adhere that to the inside. Hi, Lisa. Thank you. This paper is what's so pretty. So then you can see how it coordinates like that. And then just for some fun extra surprise, I cut a strip of, although I don't think it's the right size, but that's okay. It's Mossy Mellow, and it's supposed to be 3 by 4, but I think I boo-booed, sorry. That's what I get for maybe not paying attention, but I think it's still cute. Whoops. Let that glue sit for a second. We'll still center it like we meant it to be that size. And then for this other piece here, I was showing you earlier the partial pop-up. So when you run some of these through the die cut machine, and this is one of them, it doesn't cut all of the edges, just some of them. And where I can see this being really cool is if you had like a photo for a scrapbook page or something, you could just tuck that in there like that, and it'd be a really nice holding device. So I really think these are very, very cool, and you could really find a lot of great uses for those. So this one I'm gonna put here next to my designer series paper. I'll just use a little bit of my green glue to put that one down like that. So there is our card. And the last thing we'll do is go ahead and decorate the front. And with this one, I picked out, of course, the Nested Essentials dies. And I cut the smaller one in white and then Mossy Mellow for the next size up. And these are great because they're nesting shapes. And I use this rounded rectangle one all the time. So for this one, I picked a different greeting from that same stamp set in the suite. Just a Note. And I'll stamp that in Mossy Meadow. And then I'll layer that onto the Mossy Meadow cardstock. Thank you, Lisa. And we'll just do that. It's upside down, but we'll just flip it around. And then for your card, and this is very true with a lot of fun folds, when you are, you know, if you're opening the card like this, you want to make sure you just put adhesive on part of this, not the whole thing, otherwise your card won't open. So I put a little bit on the left-hand side there, and then I'll just tuck that like so. You can see how that works. And then really the final touches from the die cut set that I just used. This fern shape is very, very pretty, and this one cuts all the way through, as well as this one with flowers that on the card that I showed you that we'll make at my open house. We use this one. But for the fern, I cut this out with Mossy Meadow, and then we'll just put a few little dabs of glue on there, and then we'll adhere it to the front. And I like it kind of loose. If you really wanted to tack it down, you certainly could. But I like it a little bit free and loose. So there's our fern. And then the last touch will be using the ribbon. So this basic beige classic ribbon is part of that suite. So this is a new ribbon. It's the same color, like if you remember from last year, but it's a very, very nice, soft, pretty ribbon. And I like it because it's not like ivory, it's not white, it's just a really nice kind of super light beige. So look how easy that is. And I think it's a really cute fold, and really it does hero the designer series papers. So you could go crazy and use all kinds of different designer series papers and get some beautiful results. So I think that is it for the cards we made. I hope you like those, showing you this really pretty, beautiful Gallery designer series paper and all the possibilities. And don't forget, you can actually create art by simply framing or doing other fun things. So the possibilities are truly endless. I really do love this paper. So, so pretty. So thank you so much for joining. And one last thing before we go, last week I made 3 cards using the Sunrise Sailing bundle, which is an online exclusive that's very, very pretty and we did a very simple, and then we stepped it up a few times. So we'll draw right now for the winners of these cards. And because you know the drill, if you comment on or share, you have a chance to win each week's cards. Oops, I drew 2 names at once. So I got Ruth Zinzer, Susie Brunk, and our last winner will be Sandy Benson. So thank you guys so much for joining tonight, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I think it's supposed to be pretty nice here this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a very busy spring so far, and looking forward to getting caught up and maybe actually planting some flowers this weekend. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.